Well, good morning to you. I'm doing a little experimenting here with lighting this morning, trying to see what's the right amount of light to put on me. It's Thursday morning and we're going to try to get this video put together for you today that you'll enjoy. I'm really kind of a thrift nut when it comes to wood. Call me a wood miser or wood junkie. I don't know, there's lots of names you could call me. But anyway, I've salvaged me a piece of, looks like maybe it's fur, red fur, something like that, that came out of an old kind of a cabinet thing that I salvaged actually out of the dumpster. Can you imagine that? Anyway, nice piece of wood after I cleaned it up, ran it through the edger and cleaned it all up nice, and then ran it through my drum sander to finish it off. Okay, what I want to do with this today is make a picture frame for my wife. Darlene likes to paint, and so every once in a while I get talked into making a frame. So I thought that would be a good choice of subject matter for this morning, and we'll try to do our best to put this together so that you understand how it's done. Basic tools, table saw, router table, and a couple of router bits. Really basic, simple, and we'll be using 45-degree sled on the table saw. What I've done so far is to set my table saw up so I'm going to cut 3 strips, 1.5 inches wide, and this is just kind of a rough cut for now, and then we'll take these pieces, 3 strips, and cut them down so that we can make an 8 by 10 picture frame out of it. So here goes the saw. Got all 3 pieces cut like I was telling you, but look at what I've got for grain pattern here. I have a little cathedral looking. I got some that almost looks like quarter sawn. This all came out of the same board. You see what I mean? All of the patterns match on the grain, but how am I going to make that so that it looks uniform? Well, maybe she'll want to paint it, I don't know. But what I could do, put these for the vertical sides, and I've got a sticker in my finger, and then I'll use these for the top and the bottom horizontally like so. It'll give it some interesting character. We're going to cut the side pieces first, because we want the top and the bottom to be the focal point of the picture. And so I've got this measured out. So it is, the picture is 8 inches wide, so I have to add 1.25 inches on each side. I've already subtracted a 1/4 inch because from the 1.5 inches, because I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch dado in there for the picture to set into. So we'll cut these 2 and make sure I've got a long enough piece to do it so that we can I just cut the other 2 sides at 13 inches, so that gives a 1/2 inch on each side, on each end I should say, for in case I make a mistake. And you know what they say about measure twice, cut once. Sometimes I measure twice or 3 times or a dozen times and I still cut it too short. You can always make it shorter, but you can't make it longer. How about that? Okay, here I am at the router, and you see I've got my fence all adjusted. I've set it up so that we're going to cut a 1/4 inch for the inset for the canvas to set inside. The problem with the thing is we've got to go 5/8 of an inch deep, so I'm going to take 2 passes on each one to bring it up to 5/8 of an inch, which is a pretty good sized chunk to try to cut at once. Okay, we'll run one through and then we'll run the other 4 through, then we'll run a second pass, bringing it up to the 5/8 inch that we were talking about. Well, let's see. We've got to cut some roundovers on this thing and some OGs. So I guess we'll stay at the router table for now. Okay, you don't need to really watch me run all 4 of these through. I'll run one pass with it. You see I've got my feather board set up here. I've got my trusty little push block. See, I've got a little cut here so that it's set behind the piece, and that way my hands are completely away from the router bit. One time I was too close and cut the end of my thumb really quite badly. Had to go to the emergency room, so just keep that in mind, that you don't want to have that happen to you. Now, I don't know if you can see that. The next thing I'm going to do is run a decorative OG on the top of the piece that I just cut the groove in. I have switched over to 1/2 inch roundover for the back side of the top side of the frame, I guess what I'm trying to say. And we'll run it through, and then I'll show you how it's going to look. Not too bad, not too bad. Now, using my miter sled, I'm going to cut one end of each one of these, and I've got the center portion where the picture is going to set toward the bottom, away from the blade. So I'll run all 4 sides through, and then we'll turn it over, use the opposite side of the 90-degree here, and we're going to then cut the mating side to go together like so. Okay, I'll cut one and then I'll finish them up off camera. When you're making a picture frame, you have your picture is going to be setting inside of the groove here. So what we have to do is come up with a measurement from this corner right here to this corner over here. Otherwise, if you try to measure here, then it's going to be too long. You measure out here, of course, it's going to be way off. Right, I've made the first cut now, but I need to have a way to measure 2 exact pieces. So what I'm going to do is put them back to back like so, line up the corner of the 45 miter here, and then I'll go to the other end and I'll scribe a mark right here. Then the next thing I want to do go over to my sled and I take a piece of any kind of wood, any scrap wood that you want to put on here, and I'm going to line up my mark so that this is laying right against the teeth, and my mark then is going to come right here at the edge of this little piece of wood that I have up against the fence, or against the saw blade. And that'll give me a very exact dimension as far as having two equal sides. And that's what we need, is two equal tops, top and bottom, two equal sides. And when this is all finished, then everything will be square. Well, there you have it. I've got them cut with the miters on the corner, and she's all ready to glue up. I'll tell you though, if you notice, I've got a combination blade on there on the table saw. Bad mistake. It chips out the wood. I would have been a lot smarter if I had remembered to put my 80 tooth blade in. Possibly my 100 tooth blade would even be better. But live, maybe you learn, maybe you don't. That's just how it goes sometimes. But it's salvageable, so we're going to go ahead with the project. Well, there's the finished product. What do you think? I think it turned out pretty well. If you like what I've done, please subscribe, and if you want to make a comment or tell me of some project that you would like to see me do, please leave a note below and I'll do my best to see what I can do for you. Thank you very much. Until next week.